It doesn't matter too much because nothing real exists. And the more that we tell ourselves the fable of what never happened, the more we reinforce it. So it's better to turn the focus of our energy and the quantum awareness that we wish to activate into what is real, what is never threatened or jeopardized by the illusion fields. Mm-hmm. And that is who we are eternally. And as we begin to make that more real and more important than the storylines of our karma dramas in time and space and becomingness, we will begin to find that we are building a reality on a higher level that enables us to exist at that level, and then we're no longer of the earth. This is really what the ascension process is all about. People have been mistaken in assuming that we're going to be floating up into the air somehow, and we're not going to be on Earth any longer. I'll give you a perfect example. When you walk into a dark room, do you take a broom and start beating at the darkness and fighting with it? No. If you walked into a dark room with as small a candle as a birthday candle, you would immediately see the darkness start to recede. That's the power of one teensy-tiny little light. Say, for example, a group of self-realized, God-realized souls that are willing to walk as Christ upon the earth right now with the measure of Christship and glory and light and awareness that they possess. Don't wait until you're fully, all it is. That's not going to happen. There's always a quantum potential to God. There's always a next step. There is no such thing as arriving at perfection here in time and space and then doing the work, then being ascended master, then being a Christ. No, right now, if you've ever had, for example, if you are that already in eternity, that means you can move your inner awareness to that place now and claim it. And having claimed it, then you're going to have to practice walking it out.
When you say practice,
that may be the challenge, because if you've spent your lifetime totally misidentifying self and totally living in a negative, self-serving and flesh-oriented existence, you're of course not going to have the habits of expression built in. You're not going to have the power in your nervous system to hold that quantum light that you would like to walk out in the daily world. So it does take work. If you're going to be an Olympic athlete, think of how you devote your life to that particular expertise. How much more so if you want to walk as an ascended Christ on this earth now? If you've been doing your homework, you're ready. If you haven't, then you're going to have to do some serious dealing with your time management and your priorities in your life. If you're not meditating, if you're not studying, if you're not inquiring into who am I, where am I, why am I, where am I headed in life, if you're not in those active levels of self-inquiry, probably that's going to be something that you're going to have to make a choice about real fast. Because ready or not, the earth is actually ascending into a quantum expansion of awareness that the Mayans call the cycle of illumination. The golden age fully anchored this year. It will be fully in manifestation within the next short period of time. And when I say time, again, we're using this limited word that means absolutely nothing. But let's say the cycle of quantum advancement that we're in is now off the timeline. And when I started speaking, I said something marvelous has happened to humanity. We actually have been lifted, as Ashtar spoke about in 1997. He said that humanity would ascend into a new level, a new version, a kinder version of the earth. But most people would be transported in their current consciousness paradigm, but wrapped in a cocoon to protect them from psychological and spiritual shock. And then gradually, the scaffolding or the cocoon would be unwound and gradually reveal a kinder version of the earth. That's happening right now, and that's where people are feeling, if they've been at all diligent in their awareness and self, aware of what's going on with them, they will notice a greater degree of joy and peace and contentment and just really taking time, as we often say, to smell the roses. That's happening for a lot of people. They're finding that worry and stress and concern, they just really can't get it up anymore to go there.
Right, that's a real downer if you have to go there.
They really can't go there anymore. I've gotten so that things come into my life and I realize I don't have to do anything about them at all because they're not real.
Right.
And more falls into that category in my particular life. It's like, I don't have to even put energy to even considering that. It's not real.
Right.
It has no basis of truth whatsoever. Why should I put it up on a flagpole and salute it?
And it seems also like, as you see this happening with people, the planet itself is changing. Not only are people's consciousness changing or their bodies expanding, but, the science will say, well, we have global warming, or, the thing is, the Earth is really transforming into a new consciousness. Am I correct?
That is exactly it. Originally, we didn't have the poles that had ice on either end of it. That resulted from the last polar shift. Who's to say that the original Edenic state wasn't a temperate state throughout the world? See, that's where we lost all memory with the fall of Atlantis, the submersion of Atlantis, which happened when we lost we had a polar shift and lost the electromagnetic field around the Earth, which contained the memory. So we basically only have a memory, not a galactic, but a planetary memory that goes back about 5,000-6,000 years. That's all that's there. Because when there is a complete loss of the electromagnetic grid around the planet, you lose not only the memory, but you lose the physical forms of that former age. So then when you bring up things, to scrutinize it in terms of our linear science, things often show that our planet isn't all that old. The creation theory begins to have more of a plausibility than the evolution Darwinian type of theory when you really get into science, when you really get into studying the fossils and things. You'll find that there is no basis whatsoever for evolution of form on the planet. In fact, Sai Baba says there's no such thing. He said that actually we progress through quantum leaps. That's why there's always a missing link between one age and the next.
So there have been many ages on Earth, but this is the new...
Many ages. There will ultimately be 12 root races, 12 versions of the Earth, 12 dimensions, 12 bodies. Everything is based on a series of 12 great central sun universes. But we're moving right now into what's called the Shekinah universe, which is, as some people have referred to it, the age of the Divine Mother, the Divine Feminine, the Goddess Energy. There's many metaphors for it. But Shekinah is simply the power of the Holy Spirit. We're moving into the Holy Spirit age and universe. And it's overlapping ours